Welcome to Duality of Nerds, where we aim to prove that no matter how different two people seem to be, they can always be united by the love of all things nerd. I'm Brady, he's Micah, better known as
And
Ball.
knowledge. So today, uh, big segment, Odyssey review. Been looking forward to this. Unfortunately,
Finally,
he was on vacation, so we couldn't watch it when it came out. But that's okay. Um, our second segment is gonna be kind of fun. I have 10 sounds. We're gonna guess the character by their lightsaber ignition sounds, which that will be fun. I'll explain a little bit more when we get there. And then for our final segment, which is honestly just as exciting as the rest, we'll do our talk about our brand new day theories. Looking forward to brand new day, which we are both very excited about. So we want to just hop right in. You got anything before?
I don't think so. This is an absolutely massive episode for us. Episode 7, we've got The Odyssey,
Yep.
one of the biggest, most anticipated movies um, in the last couple years. And then we've got talking about Brand New Day as well. Plus some fun Star Wars, because we're the Star Wars guys.
Of course.
Yeah, let's just get into it. We're not doing a no spoiler review. Like you said, I was on vacation, so we are pretty late to the party here. Classic us. So we're gonna do full spoilers.
Yep.
So spoiler warning, spoiler on the Odyssey. Um, but yeah, how do you want to go through this? Because we both took notes.
Yeah.
I took my notes obviously as I was watching the movie, so my notes are
Which
kind of
is
like in
crazy.
movie order.
I did
We
not.
could do that.
I wrote it all down after the movie.
Oh, okay, perfect. Do you want to do some sort of thing where like we start with our negatives, then go to positives? That
Yeah.
oh wait, we should start with our out of
We'll
tens.
start with our out of tens, and then we'll do our negatives and positives. Um, yeah, you just came from this movie. You literally watched it only a couple hours
I
ago.
watched it 2 hours ago. Yeah.
It's been 2 days for me. So but I made a point as soon as I got out, sat in my car, wrote down all my notes. So a lot of it's probably to some extent in reverse order. I tried, anyways. The order doesn't matter, but yes, we do need to start with our out of tens, which yeah, you can count us down as usual.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited to hear yours because let's just do it. Our out of 10 scores for Christopher Nolan. Wow,
Bro started bouncing
Christopher
on it,
Nolan's
man.
the on Odyssey. Our out of 10 scores for Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey. Three, two, one, nine point
9.4.
seven.
Oh,
Okay, we're not that
we are
far.
not
This
that
is
far.
interesting. Mine is higher than yours.
It is. So that's what I wrote immediately after watching the movie. Before we recorded this, I was thinking about, man, as I've been thinking about the movie the last 2 days, I think it's risen higher in my mind. So I was going to change to a 9.6, but I wanted to stick with what I wrote immediately after the movie. So,
I don't know if that's ever happened. If I've ever had a higher score than you.
yeah, I'm generally more positive than you, but also I have a system for rating. But yeah, it's hard. I have one thing that made me subtract from the total that we'll talk about, but
Yeah.
overall, we both loved it. Is what I'm hearing.
This movie, your favorite movie of the year, I'm assuming?
So far, yes.
Easily my favorite movie of the year. Project Hail Mary was phenomenal. Yes. It doesn't scratch The Odyssey.
No.
It does not come close. The Odyssey, oh my word. I'm so excited to talk about this. It is genuinely a masterpiece.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's just get into the nitty gritty. Do you have any negatives?
I do. But
Well, obviously it's not a 10 out of 10, so walk us
yes,
through it.
yes. Well, yeah. My negatives, there weren't many, and they weren't that big of a deal. Um, so my biggest issue was to some extent casting, not for the same reason for everyone else necessarily. Yes, I have the same issues that other people had, but I think that those issues, their characters didn't play a big
Right.
enough role for it to matter. Yes,
100%.
bad casting for those characters. They had 3 lines or whatever. I mean, one of them had more, but either way, wasn't big enough to matter. But this is the thing that really subtracted the most points for me. I did not like seeing so many familiar faces. Like it's one thing to have a
Really?
couple. It was hard, and I think some of it might actually be the acting. I think Tom Holland and John Bernthal are less dynamic actors than I thought because Tom Holland felt like Peter Parker, and John Bernthal felt like uh, whoever his character is in Walking Dead, the Bear, Punisher. He does kind of play the same character, so he felt out of place, and so did Tom Holland.
I have that issue with Tom Holland. I agree he felt like Peter Parker at point.
Yeah.
There was even one point I cannot believe Christopher Nolan let this slip. Tom Holland had a huge blunder and completely lost his English accent. He
Oh,
went fully British.
really? I
Like
didn't notice.
I think it was like anywhere where it was so obviously like anywhere, but like it was just so obviously British.
That's
And so
crazy.
like I don't know how Christopher Nolan let that slide. I was sitting here, I was like, what just happened?
Yeah.
Obviously that's not going to take off a point. Like, let's just get one thing clear. They're all good actors.
They
They
are.
all gave good performances.
Yes.
But I agree with you at points Tom Holland felt like Peter Parker. I don't really have the same issue with John Bernthal though, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, and for him it was less big of a deal. That his wasn't,
Yeah.
especially because again his character wasn't in it a ton. But he felt a little out of place to me in some points, which that's coming. I love John Bernthal. He's one of my
Oh
favorite
my gosh, me
actors,
too.
like genuinely. But he did feel a little out of place. Um, I don't have many issues, so I'll probably just continue till I'm done. Um, one, well, I'll save that for the praise. We're good. We're good. This is kind of unusual to me for a Nolan film, but the sound design stood out to me. The soundtrack didn't. With the exception of the
Really?
with one song, the song that played during the sirens and then it played again near the end. But as a whole, the soundtrack didn't stick out to me as much as it does. Like, and I'm holding it to a Nolan
Okay.
standard. I'm holding
I was
it
going
to
to
the
say,
previous Hans Zimmer standard, right? And
sure.
this was Ludwig Göransson, which he is the new generation's Hans Zimmer for sure. He's taking over, and he does a great job. But it didn't stick out to me. Which again, that didn't really subtract anything. It just didn't add anything for me. Soundtrack didn't add
Similar thing
anything.
with the acting. It's not like they're bad.
Yeah,
It's just that like Tom Holland's performance isn't like Oscar worthy.
yeah,
I think for Tom Holland specifically, I have that written down in here. The biggest part we feel it is when at the very end when Tom Holland screams when it's like the last fight
yeah,
and he's like trying to be like enough of this, where it's like okay, that's very obviously that's way out of Tom Holland's character.
yep,
Like that's just not a Tom Holland thing.
yeah,
So that's where it really felt like that. And so it's another one of those things. It doesn't take away from the movie. So
yeah,
you're right. But it doesn't stick out or add, which is the standard that Nolan has set for himself. So
yeah.
I think that's a fair quote unquote negative.
Yeah. And the other thing about like the casting is it's really hard to call it an issue that they cast so many recognizable and bad actors, but for me it did inhibit my ability to become more immersed in this world because it was so many familiar actors. It For me it ruined, but again, ruined is so hard because the movie was so good. Um
Yeah.
but yeah, and then I mean Travis Scott was in it and they didn't play Fiend, so that obviously subtracted a lot of points. Uh, but no,
Oh,
I think
true.
I had a higher original score and I subtracted point 0.1 simply because there's a scene of them throwing puppies off a cliff. That subtracted points
I didn't
overall
like it.
for me. So,
I That's completely fair.
yeah.
Yeah.
But that really concludes my negatives, so not much.
Yeah, I don't really have many either. I'm excited to get into our positives,
Yeah.
but I do have some negatives.
Okay.
You didn't bring this up. I think I have a hot take here. I don't think the Trojan horse looks that good.
Hmm. What do you
In
mean?
my
What do you
mind, the
mean good?
Trojan
What's this?
horse should be wood. It should be wooden.
It was wood.
It doesn't. It looks
It
bronze.
does look
It
bronze. It
looks
was
like it's
polished wood.
pure
It's
bronze.
polished wood. But yeah,
So that I don't. It should
you want it
look
to look more rusty.
rustic and wooden and look like it was built by the same people who built these adobes that everyone is staying. Like it
Fair.
literally looks like a bronze statue. I don't. Did it take away more than half of a point for me? Probably not.
Yeah.
Or half of a point. Did it have a negative impact on the movie? Yes.
Hmm.
Because one of my biggest positives is that everything else looks so good,
Yeah.
to where the Trojan horse not holding up to that standard is kind of like,
Yeah, which I think yours is not. That's not a hot take. I have the hot take where I liked it because it felt so well crafted, which is why they put it in the Temple of Athena. And so for me, it felt like it made sense that it looked so nice because they wanted it so badly in their Temple of Athena. That's my hot take with the horse.
that's totally fair. Um, so my other negatives. Oh yeah, this cutoff. So I'm at a 9.7. I could be convinced for a 9.6. I'm closer to a 9.6 than I am a 9.8.
Yeah.
I think like 0.25 points comes from the first 30 minutes of the movie. Pacing specifically of the first 30 minutes of the movie, I thought was really, really rushed.
Mm.
I have a huge issue with slow movies. This is like one of the first movies where I've been like, whoa, what are we doing? Whoa, like, whoa.
Yeah.
Specifically, I'm thinking to an interaction that Tom Holland had, where it's like him and the other character kept like talking over each other and then like not acknowledging what the other person just said and going on to another thing.
Mm.
And in a way, you kind of have to do that. So I'm not letting it knock off too many points, because this is like the Iliad and the Odyssey is like one of, if not the most famous stories of all time.
Yep.
And so you have to set it up. And how are you going to set up an entire Greek mythological, war
In a timely manner.
Story in, to preface the actual 2.5 hour movie that comes after it? So it's like, okay, it makes sense that it's rushed, but it's still rushed.
Yes.
So I had an issue with that. And then I think there are a couple of inconsistent shots. When they're on one of the ships and it's raining really hard, one shot it looks like it's absolute downpour. The next frame it's like kind of zoomed out and it doesn't really look like there's any rain. And then the next frame comes in close again, or the next shot comes in close again, and it looks like it's pouring again.
Okay.
So it just looked kind of choppy. But then another one, this like shocked me at the end, when at the very end, Odysseus is having like flashbacks to the Trojan War, and a building behind him falls, and we see this flaming building fall, and then since it's like brick, when it hits the ground, it like splat, like the building splats.
Yep.
And then the very next shot is him, and then right behind him is that building that just splat, but it's put together. It's on the ground like it fell,
yeah.
But we just watched it like vaporize in smoke, and now it's so like both of those things, the rain and that shot, are unbelievably nitpicky.
Yep.
But
it's Nolan.
This is the guy that I would say is the greatest director of all time.
Yep.
It is the Nolan standard. So I look at that and I'm like, man, if any other director directed this movie, that would not be a negative for me, because it's just like, it happens. It's movies, it's obviously Hollywood magic all over the place in this movie. But that specifically, where it's like, we just watched this building collapse and now it's just put back together. Anyways, not a huge negative. Like I said, this movie's a 9.7 for me. It is almost perfect.
Yep.
At the end, somebody get these beggars out of here.
Dude.
Robert Pattinson, what are we doing?
I don't know. You haven't been on Instagram much since then, but that is all over. Somebody get these beggars. It's like, whoa. That does not sound like what you said.
These beggars out. What are we doing? Under what circumstances is that how that line should have been directed or written? I feel like I saw that clip before the movie, so when I actually saw it in the movie, I was like prepared for it and I laughed about it. But it's like, that's so obviously not how that line should have been said.
Yeah. So much emphasis on the word beggars.
Somebody get these Eggers out of here.
It's like,
And
whoa.
he's like jolly, and it does not make sense for me at all in the
So
scene. But
funny.
obviously, that's stupid. So yeah, I'm down to get into our positives.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I can try and rush through mine. I don't want to. I mean, there's so much to talk about that I can't stay
I
on everything for too long.
I would love to start with my biggest positive. It's not my biggest, but it's the one that I want to emphasize
Yeah,
the
yeah.
most right now. Robert Pattinson, you gave a phenomenal performance.
Yep.
Himish Patel is the guy
Yep.
that is like his first mate.
Yep.
So Robert Pattinson, incredible performance. Himish Patel, incredible performance. Matt Damon, you're gonna win the Oscar, incredible performance. John Bernthal, incredible performance. Anne Hathaway
Thank you.
puts those four to shame.
Yep.
She gave the best performance of her life, one of the best performances I have ever seen in my entire life in this movie. Anne Hathaway deserves the Oscar. Matt Damon's going to win it deservedly.
There is the supporting
He's
character, so she can still get one too.
She could still, but she gave the best performance of the movie, the best performance of her life, one of the best performances I've ever seen. Through scrolling reels after watching the Odyssey, I'm obviously getting tons of Odyssey stuff on my feed.
Yep.
I have not found a single person talk about how good Anne Hathaway was.
Really? Okay, I
She
have seen it
was
a lot. I've seen it a lot.
unbelievable. Every single interaction she had, it was like either bone chilling or made me want to cry or had all of the hairs on the back of my neck standing up. Like,
Yep.
she was unbelievable.
Yeah.
So, yes, the acting in this movie was phenomenal. So many people gave the best performance of their career. But Anne Hathaway puts them to shame. She was unconscious. She was so good.
Yeah. No, absolutely. The actors, the specific actors that I wanted to highlight were Anne Hathaway, Pattinson, and Damon. Robert Pattinson,
Yep.
he's such a dynamic actor. He's he's probably one of the most dynamic actors I've seen. I mean, there are thankfully quite a few, probably the most dynamic is James McAvoy. That's the most dynamic I've seen, but that helps
Yeah.
that he played 23 split personalities in one movie. But anyways, yeah. I think so. I gave it a 9.4, technically a 9.5. It literally was just because the puppies. But anyways, if everything that would bring it down, I bet the best way to summarize Act 2 and Act 3, 10 out of 10s. Act 1 is kind of, I think, what would make it not a 10 out of 10. I totally agree with you. Starting at the Cyclops Island and forward, 10 out of 10.
I literally have written down pacing in the first 30 minutes was not good. From Cyclops on, wholly perfect.
Yep.
That's exactly what I have written down.
Yep.
So I completely agree with you.
Perfect. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the aura farming was great. We'll address that. Agamemnon opening the doors of Troy, bro's just standing there. We see the fit. We see it.
So let's talk about the Battle of Troy,
Yeah.
because I don't know if I can name a better sequence in a movie than the Battle of Troy.
Battle of Helm's
It genuinely might Battle of Helm's Deep. I genuinely don't know. Excluding Lord of the Rings. I think Lord of the Rings has a couple. Which is obviously acknowledged in the Oscars. But I don't know if I've ever seen a sequence that good.
Yeah.
I was sitting back in my seat, like I can't believe what I'm watching. I leaned over. I went to see it with my brother, my cousin. I leaned over to Carson after that scene was done and it like moved on to the next frame and it was clear that we were done with the Trojan War.
Yeah.
I leaned over to him and I said, "Holy crap. Like I cannot believe what I just watched. It was so good and chilling. I had chills the entire time."
Yeah.
There's so much to talk about
There's
in this movie.
so much.
Dude,
I
so
know
good.
we're gonna have to. That's why I'm doing like some general stuff because aura farming's throughout the whole movie, and that's like one of the things.
Yes.
I love that. I actually like being dead serious. Nolan's use of aura farming in his movies is one of the better things that he does. Like I love
Yes.
that that's his style of movie where his characters need to aura farm. Like truly, I
Yeah.
think it's a great choice, a great directive choice. Um, and then jumping to the other big uh, plus from the whole movie, minimal CGI. I mean, the now that I've seen all of the stuff about the crazy behind the scenes, so obviously all the giants were like 7'2"
Seven
bodybuilders
footers.
with less than 5 foot doubles for the other guys, and then the Cyclops was mostly practical. It was the giant puppet in a bunch of pieces that they stitched together
Yep.
with CGI. Cersei making the pig faces, that was an animatronic, so that was also actually real, and they were doing that.
I actually forgot to say in my negatives that the Cersei's arc was whack, and I didn't like it. But
Really,
it's not a big deal. I didn't think the Cersei's arc was good.
that
Which like it's sandwiched between the Cyclops and the Hades arc, which both of those were so good,
yeah,
and the Cersei's one, it didn't compare to any of the other arcs in my opinion.
I will tell you, majority opinion disagrees. Majority opinion is that's one of the best scenes in the movie, and her performance is one of the best in the movie. That's majority opinion, which is reasonable. Like, I would say Cyclops is the best scene to me, followed by Cersei. I think Cersei's scene was so well done and disturbing with the positive. They did it really well to what, because I haven't read the Odyssey. I have read a more family friendly, still not family friendly, but more family friendly and shorter version when I was younger. So like I had an idea of what happens in every, and they did Cersei pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard that she gave one of the best performances. I've seen that take.
Yeah,
It's just yeah, that arc was probably my least favorite
yeah,
of the movie.
yeah.
Um,
Which I actually just had an idea. Should we just jump by arc? Just talk about each
I think
arc.
that's totally fair.
Do you have anything from the
Um,
first act that we want to talk about that's positive, or?
yes. So whenever there's a Christopher Nolan movie, I like to place my what I call the Nolan fingerprint because to me he is the greatest director of all time.
Yeah.
And so I talked about this recently in the Dark Knight trilogy. I think the Nolan fingerprint is Cillian Murphy's character
Hmm.
because he's in all three movies. He's so good in all three movies. He's a completely different character in all three movies, and he ties in perfectly to Batman's story in all three movies.
Yeah.
It's like there's not another human being alive that could make all of those things happen in the same trilogy.
Yeah.
And so for me, Cillian Murphy's character in the Dark Knight trilogy is the Nolan fingerprint. The Nolan fingerprint in this movie is timing up the music to pulling the string
Yeah.
on the bow. Every single time it happened, it sent it's rats. It sent chills down my entire body.
Yeah.
Specifically, obviously, the last one when he's in the beggar outfit, the beggar costume, and
Somebody
he
get
puts it together, and and he's putting the string on, and then the music starts building up, and at this point, it's happened 2 or 3 times, so you know it's gonna happen again, and it's boom, boom, boom,
And
like
Hathaway.
oh,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, and then Anne Hathaway turns her. It's oh my goodness.
And
To
I mean,
me,
oh well, we'll get to that.
to me, what I'm calling the Nolan fingerprint of this movie is the timing up the music with the string.
Yeah.
For an Odysseus story, oh my goodness, it's incredible. That was
Yeah.
awesome. That's so creative. I would have never thought to do that.
Yeah.
Um, so that's the Nolan fingerprint for me, and that is in the first act, or the first time we see it is in the first act. So that was a big positive for me.
Yeah. My first act positives are similar. I like the setup with Odysseus and like some of the flashbacks we have in the first act of Odysseus, including the bow especially, and the setup with the dog and his caretaker slash the shepherd. I think he's a shepherd, but whatever hit the blind guy. That's what I'll refer to
The
him
blind
as.
fart,
The
yeah,
blind guy. The setup with him and Argus the dog, and kind of setting them up. That was the other big positive. To then
agreed,
reprise that at the end, that was definitely a huge positive of the first act.
100%.
Oh, and
Yeah,
Agamemnon.
yeah, yeah. I was gonna say Agamemnon gets set up in or set up in the first act,
Yeah.
and I have Agamemnon looks freaking unbelievable.
Yep.
I mean, well, there's also not a bad costume in this entire movie.
Yeah.
Um, I this is another one of my positives. This is just Christopher Nolan being Christopher Nolan. We've talked about the practical effects instead of CGI, all of that. Yes, 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 yes.
Yep.
This movie is so colorful.
Yeah.
I will be absolutely shocked if anyone can find one single frame of this movie that does not look perfect. Every single frame of the movie is jaw-dropping.
Yeah.
This is the probably the best looking, well, Project Hail Mary looked really good.
Yeah, so did Interstellar. The space movies are definitely
Yeah.
hard to beat.
The space movies are hard to beat, and that's a different type of looks good. So I'm just going to say, excluding space movies,
Yeah.
this is probably the best looking movie I have ever seen in my entire life. And obviously, it's called the big screen. Like the whole movie theaters, it's the big screen. Like the whole point is to look at it.
Yeah.
And so that's a huge positive for me that literally every single scene, every single shot, every single frame looks perfect. And that's impossible to do. It's just incredible what we got to watch.
Yeah. No, it was insane. And what's crazier to me, so that's the general viewing experience, right? Is the looking. You know, I'm an audiophile. I'm a huge audiophile. The sound design in this movie might be the best that I have ever heard. It was, and
It's incredible.
we'll get to when we talk about the Cyclops, but that might be my favorite sound that I've ever heard in a movie.
That the Cyclops scream?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, really?
Because it's so disturbing. It is so
No,
loud.
it was freaky, dude.
Yeah, it was. But they did so well to be able to do that. I mean, seriously, the sound design with the Cyclops in general was phenomenal. Not just the wailing, but the voice as well. Like, dude, yeah, it.
Yeah, no. The wailing specifically, I'm a grown man. Like I'm a grown man. I was like timbering in my shivers over here in my seat as I'm watching the Cyclops wail, and it's just ear piercing.
Yep.
Like it was so loud, but it was so disturbing.
Mm-hmm.
I wholeheartedly agree with you.
Yeah.
The Cyclops wail was incredible. That was awesome.
Yeah, the whole
I think
whole sequence.
I don't know if it's better than Palpatine on Exegol, the
Actually,
lightning.
That's true.
I don't know if it's better than that.
It's hard because that is
but
a very replayable scene.
that's 1A, 1B right there.
Exactly.
Yeah. In terms of like most impressive, best audio
Yes.
clip in a movie.
Yep.
I think that's 1A, 1B.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And I mean, we could probably start talking about the Cyclops scene. I feel so bad for the Cyclops. I mean, seriously, it did nothing wrong, right? It did nothing wrong, objectively.
But they did a great job addressing that.
Yeah.
Like you really like felt for the Cyclops as you were watching the movie. Like it was really. I think they handled it about as good as you could have.
Yeah. And that's what I love is that they make you feel sad for it because you should, and they did a great job of doing that, like you said.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was very. I was not expecting the Cyclops to be that big before coming to the movie. I didn't know it was going to be.
I was not either. Yeah, he was massive.
Yeah, that threw me off, and so many people are complaining about its appearance, and it's like, oh, that's not what it actually would. Cyclops aren't real.
It's a Cyclops. It's not real.
What are you talking about? So, anyways.
Oh, that's funny.
I think it was a great, a great interpretation of that. And so what they left out from that scene, I don't know if you know the Nobody arc. Okay. Yeah, in the Odyssey, the Cyclops, which I feel like his name is Polyphemus. It's something like that. He, as Odysseus is leaving with all his men, the Cyclops is like, he in some way asks like, who hurt me, or what was your name, or whatever. And Odysseus tells him, my name is Nobody. And so when other Cyclops had heard his wailing, they come over, are you okay? He goes, nobody hurt me, and they leave because they think he's fine. And so that was a big arc of Odysseus tricking
Interesting.
him by, yeah, that was an interesting thing, which he chose to leave out. Which is, I mean, I don't think it would have added too much to the movie overall. It
No,
would have to
it's
the
fair to leave
scene,
out.
yeah, which he just didn't want us to stay on the Cyclops scene because there were more things to move on to.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of, I mean, Act Two also had the fall of Troy. We kind of
Mm-hmm.
addressed that earlier,
Yep.
but that's one of my favorite scenes ever in a movie. Just incredible.
Yeah.
Then there was the Cyclops arc. Then there was the Circe's arc. We talked about the Circe's arc. Then there was the Hades arc.
Yeah.
How do you think what are your thoughts on the Hades arc?
That one, that was really cool. That was well done. It was definitely, it was really grimy, I think is the right word. I mean, between the drinking the blood and all the dead people, it was yeah, it was dark, but it was good. I really really liked Agamemnon's role there. And again, most like this wasn't Nolan's choice, but so I like the way that Nolan
Right.
portrayed his role. And I mean, obviously, all these people are in the clothes they died in, and yet Agamemnon died naked and he still is in his armor. So that's just sick.
Tough. Yeah. Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with you. I think the Hades arc was perfect.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have changed a single thing. I was worried that they were going to go down the route of zombifying all of them.
Mm,
I'm really glad they didn't.
yeah.
Really, really glad they didn't. I don't like
It wouldn't have made
zombifying.
sense.
It wouldn't have made sense. And you see that in a lot of afterlife Hades style things is
Yeah.
that they're zombified and they're torn apart and it's like that's just I really like Christopher Nolan's choice there to
Yeah.
keep them as they were when they died. Um and then the last one was the story the last arc in Act 2 was the story of the sirens.
Yeah. I wanted to talk a little bit. Well, sirens. You also had the whirlpool and Scylla, the monster in the cliff. Um,
Oh, right.
I liked the pacing with those three scenes. They were quick, and they needed to be quick. Like we got all we needed to from them. We
Yep.
didn't get, and I also I for the siren scene, the stylistic choice to not actually make a song for us to hear of the sirens, and instead having Odysseus try and describe it and seeing his reaction. That was an amazing choice. I think he couldn't have chosen better than to do that.
And it was the same soundtrack sound that was happening when Odysseus and Penelope
Yep.
reunite.
Yes, which helps us understand the song. Yeah, he lets our imagination do the work, and it's
He just lets us
yep.
figure it out and think about it. I am a big Pirates of the Caribbean guy.
Yeah.
I'm a big pirates guy. I'm a big fantastical ocean guy. I love the uh I say I love it and I can't remember what it's called. When the water turns black in Sea of Thieves.
Getting Kraken.
Kraken. I love the Kraken. I love Davy Jones' Locker. I love all of the fantastical ocean stuff. I love sirens.
Mm.
This is by far the best siren story, siren explanation
And we barely
I
see
have
him.
ever seen in my entire life. And it was 10 minutes, maybe 7 minutes.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't even 7. Like it was truly maybe 4 minutes, 4 or 5 minutes.
And it's the best I've ever seen sirens done, literally ever.
Yeah.
We have, all of video games with sirens. The biggest one is on Stranger Tides, Pirates of the Caribbean. Sirens have a huge impact on that movie,
Very
and
much.
that was the best until this. And this is literally a 5 minute scene.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe how perfect it was, and I love fantastical ocean kind of things. Like I really invest in this stuff, and I think about it, and like I love this stuff,
Yeah.
and it is the best I have ever seen, and it was in 5 minutes.
Yep.
It was incredible.
Yeah. And then they made the whirlpool and Scylla scene like 2 minutes, maybe 3 minutes, which is good because it wasn't that interesting, but we needed to know it happened. So
Yep.
again, just a great directing choice. Um, so and then moving on to what's kind of the next arc and also has been an arc, Calypso, and him being on Calypso's
Yep.
island. I like the way that they did it with her. Not necessarily giving her a big role and not giving us a glimpse of their 7 years together. I didn't care. It wouldn't have been interesting. So instead
It was a great choice.
they used her arc just to explain him getting his memories back and explain what happened. I think that was a great choice to keep Calypso to a minimum.
Yeah, and I like that they use lotus flowers too. I kept replaying the Percy Jackson movies
Oh, yeah.
in my
Well,
mind every time they said the lotus flowers.
yes, that's. I mean, obviously those lotus flowers in Percy Jackson. That's from the
Right.
Odyssey, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Nolan didn't use a casino, but he should have.
Yeah, I really liked how he handled that situation. How he did try to make it a love story between Odysseus and Penelope, even though there was literally 7 years of him essentially having another wife.
Yep.
I like how he handled that.
Yeah.
I thought that was very good. But yeah, the third act basically starts when he leaves Calypso's island
Yep.
on the raft, and he gives himself up to Zeus and Poseidon and all of that. And then that's the rest of the thing.
Yes.
I think the first act, so now that we know how the acts are broken up, I think the first act is 9 out of 10, maybe an 8.7 out of 10.
Yep.
I think the second act is an 11 out of 10,
Yep.
and I think the third act is a 12
It's a
out of 10.
Agreed. 100%.
The third act is the best 50 minutes of movie I have seen within the last 10 years of my life.
Yeah.
It was so unbelievably good. Every single I don't even know how to say it in a way that I haven't said it yet. It's just perfect. It's literally perfect. Everything is perfect.
No, yeah. I mean, the emotional impact, the storytelling aspect, I love how they handled Odysseus trying to atone for what he did in the battle. Like them showing the Battle of Troy was wrong. It was the wrong thing. And that's the thing that made me love Cersei's arc is, we have the 2026 Men Are Pigs is corny and stupid. That Men Are Pigs is valid because truly the men who went to Troy, we see them killing all these people and taking the women, and we know what they did with the women, and we know that they sailed around and did that in other cities. Yeah, and I like also they made the whole sun god's cattle thing pretty brief, which is good.
I agree.
Got the point across.
That was a good thing.
So I think that was just. Oh, we skipped the giants. That scene was sick.
True. Giants is probably second to last behind Cersei's to me.
Okay, I thought it was pretty.
It looked good.
Cool.
I wish that one was longer. That needed more because there was so much emotional depth to the Cyclops arc because it was the first one, and then they basically got shorter after that.
Yeah.
Which I didn't even realize until just now. That's totally what happened because it went Cyclops, which was super long, Cersei's, which we got a ton of dialogue.
Well, it was the Giants and then Cersei, but they made Cersei.
Was it?
Yes, they made because I remember they were gonna leave the island with the Giants, but they're like, no, we need to keep going around because
that's right.
Yeah, but you're still right. After Cersei, they got shorter.
Yeah, sure. It's essentially that's the general lineage was downwards, but I wish the giant arc was longer. We needed a reason to care about the giants, about the giant people.
Yeah, which they have a name.
We didn't have anything,
and I know there is stuff behind them, but yeah, he didn't. Nolan didn't give us anything that, someone who wouldn't.
We didn't even see their faces.
Yeah.
Like we didn't see their faces. We don't know anything about their it would be different if like there was a hometown that we saw that was getting invaded or like why are they all in battle armor?
Why are they already in armor? They're literally that was a question I had. How are they already all in armor? But
that's what I'm saying. So that's one of the things where it's like that's probably second to last behind Cersei's because there were things that didn't make sense. I wish there was more explanation. But that's so unbelievably nitpicky in the grand scheme of the movie, and that absolutely will not lower my score. I'm a 7 or I'm a 9.7. Like
yeah, and I think my rating of each of the stops actually really goes in order of length. I really think for me it is Cyclops, Cersei, Giants, and like I think that's kind of how it goes for me. Probably because they were longer, they gave us more reason to care and to understand.
No, that's fair. My bias puts Sirens immediately at 1.
That's fair
because it's something that I love and it's the best portrayal of it that I've ever seen in my entire life. Better than on Stranger Tides, Pirates of the Caribbean, which is my favorite franchise of all time, neck and neck with Star Wars. But anyways, I digress. Anyways, I think the only thing we really haven't addressed is the
The
last fight
last,
scene.
yep,
Is him killing all of the uh suitors or whatever.
yeah, the suitors,
And then it ultimately ending with
all
them
the
kneeling
people
to him,
kneeling one by one throughout the fight. It's just such a nice touch.
which you can just slowly start see to happen, and then by the time you figure out that all of them are knelt, it's the exact moment that Robert Pattinson figures out that all of them are knelt. And so like that's brilliant. I
Yeah,
don't know how Nolan does that. It's literally like a character on screen is supposed to be going through these emotions, and the viewer goes through all of the emotions with that character at the exact same pace and hits the climax at the same pace as the main character that we're being
yeah,
compared to. It's like I movie making genuinely blows my mind at this level. I don't understand how a human being could come up with this kind of thing and make it perfect.
yeah,
Like literally perfect.
yeah. And there were so many good touches with that scene, especially with Robert Pattinson's character. Obviously, do you know why none of them could string the bow?
Uh-uh.
So, a lot of people assume it's just a strength thing; they're not strong enough. But actually, you have the bow that's like shaped like this. It's not supposed to be strung on this side. It's supposed to be bent backwards and strung. So it's a combination of technique, being able to hold it, because like if you think about trying to bend a bow backwards, when you're trying to do that, it's going to twist and you're going to lose it. He
Right.
has the right technique to keep it from twisting and to be able. So that's why it's so
That's
special
actually
and
really
no one can do
interesting.
it. Yeah, it's super interesting. He plucks the bow, which is the warning he gives before he hunts, which is what Robert Pattinson realizes, and that's why he goes back. And
And
just
it's just an absolute fish the entire
exactly
scene. That
because
he's so
he's
oh
been
my gosh, it was
he's
perfect.
been blowing himself up the whole movie, acting like he's the stuff and he can do anything, and then he's hiding behind a pillar for the entire fight
Hey
scene.
guys, go grab that
Grab the
shield.
spear.
Go
Get
grab
the
that shield. Grab
spears.
the spear, guys. Oh my gosh.
So
That's
well
so
done.
good. It's so brilliant. Oh, I love Robert Pattinson's character. He was
Yes,
so good.
such a good performance. Yeah, we hate him like to the core, and that's exactly how it's supposed to be. Um,
And Christopher Nolan is really good at making us hate bad guys.
yep.
Perfect.
Yeah, and then I mean, just Odysseus being able to tank every single wound that he gets and still being able to fight. It's just insane. And obviously, the touch of Anne Hathaway, "You belong out here" or whatever, and shutting the. That was a good detail.
Peak.
That was really good.
Peak. I mean, that's a whole relationship that between Robert Pattinson's character and the maid,
Yeah.
that like they handle that relationship or they address that relationship in maybe a grand total of 45 seconds of screen time, and even that is a 10 out of 10.
Yep.
Like that relationship is perfect.
Yeah.
This movie was incredible. I seriously doubt if this is not my number one movie of 2026 by the end of the year. If it's not my number one,
Brand New Day was the best movie.
something crazy happened with Brand New Day, Doomsday, or Doom Part 3.
Yeah.
Something mind blowing happened if this is not my number one movie,
Yeah.
but I'm assuming it will be.
Yeah, and my problem, I didn't go. Well, I don't even know if it's a problem. I didn't go in with high hopes, and I came out saying this is at least in my top 10 of all time, if not my top 5. Like, so I think that's crazy. I hope the same thing happens with Dune Part 3 because I'm not at this moment super excited for it. I'm still going to go see it.
Yeah.
And I hope I am blown away like I was with Part 2. But yeah, dude, that final act was, and I feel like Tom's character got a little too much screen time almost, I want to say. Maybe
In the final act,
not in the final act, like in the whole movie. In the whole movie.
I think he had too much screen time in the final act. The final act, that fight scene should have been strictly Odysseus.
That's true. Other than, oh, you mean like him 1v1ing the guy? Yes. Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, there was too much 1v1ing the guy up there. Like, if they had made that 1v1 45 seconds, a minute, instead of the 3 minutes of the fight that it took up,
Yeah.
I think it would have been much better. But the whole time I was thinking, I was like, I just want to see what Odysseus is doing
I
right
do
now.
need a rewatch because just one. Sorry to interrupt. I'm bad at that, but
No, go ahead.
one thing that I think might redeem that scene, and I need a rewatch. We see in the first act Tom Holland getting trained to fight with a sword, and he gets taught a certain style.
It's the same move.
It is the same move. I think that's a nice touch. I thought it was, but
It's the same
I had to
move.
rewatch. So okay, yeah,
Yep, because he waits for a big swing and then brings him in and gets up here, but then actually slits the guy's throat.
yeah.
It's the exact same move.
So I
Yeah,
think
I
that
noticed that. It was really cool.
good touch. I think that redeems it to an extent. But yeah, I don't know why there. I think there should have been less cuts to him than there were.
Yes, and I kind of understand it because the whole future is that he's going to be king and he's
Yes.
following after Odysseus, and so I understand that it's now their fight and then it's going to be only his fight after Odysseus is exiled. I just cared more about Odysseus and I wanted to watch Odysseus at
Yep.
that time, so that's why.
Yep. Yeah, the ending. I
Yeah,
mean, unbelievable ending. One of the best endings I've ever seen in a movie.
perfect, perfect ending to the movie.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I have no complaints.
Yeah.
I genuinely like my in just talking about it, my issues feel so stupid. They are real issues. Like the
Yes.
first 30 minutes of the movie is poorly paced, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The Trojan horse, that's an opinion thing, but I don't think it looks good.
Yeah.
There are some awkward line deliveries and some awkward shots that to me are inconsistent. So like those are real problems. Those are quantifiable, objective problems that I have. But in just thinking about the movie and talking about the movie and stepping back and being like, "What are we doing here, dude?"
Yeah.
They feel so insignificant. That's why I gave it a 9.7.
Yeah. No, yeah, and I think for me, again, after that was my initial rating, and I was gonna change it before this, but I didn't want to. But I think I have changed to a 9.6 just in all of my thinking and learning about. Because for me, and this is something I've told you before, like I don't want to forget the Lord of the Rings to rewatch it for the first time. I love them more because I've seen them so much and have learned so much. It was the same thing with the Odyssey. Because now I've learned so much about all of how they did it, it has raised the rating in my mind.
Yeah, yeah, no, in especially thinking about, I didn't even address how good the ships look. I am the pirate guy.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh yeah.
how many years have I been saying I want to be a pirate when I grow up?
All of them.
15, all of them, probably all of them. I'm 20, so
As
probably
soon as you
20
knew
years.
about pirates. Yeah.
As soon as I knew about pirates, I wanted to be a pirate when I grew up. I love pirates. There's not a single human being who loves the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise more than me. Um, I I love pirates. The ships in the ocean and everything just looked so good. It's not pirates,
Yeah.
but it's wooden ships on a roaring ocean, and everything just looked perfect and sounded perfect. And it's just, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I loved it so much. This movie really just tickled me silly. I mean, this
Somewhere
was incredible.
somewhere I have written that every scene with a boat in the ocean was phenomenal. I
Yep.
have that written somewhere. I also appreciate, just as to who I am, so an R-rated movie, minimal swearing, no nudity, not super graphic. I appreciated that for being an R-rated movie.
That's that's why I liked how they told the Siren arc so much,
Mm-hmm.
because things are implied. The dude jumped off the boat. You see feminine like kind of figures on the rock,
Yep.
but then the dude jumps off the boat, and then Matt Damon's character is trying to explain the relationship with Odysseus is trying to explain the relationship with his wife and what the
Matt
song was telling him.
Damon's character.
Bro, you got the picture. You get the picture. Um, but like all of that is implied about the sirens without just putting a naked woman on the screen and saying, "Oh, that's a siren." People
Exactly.
will jump off a boat for her.
Which other
So
directors would totally
it's
do that because sex sells. But
which other directors absolutely do. And so it's the most intelligent way it's ever been done. It's the most creative way it's ever been done. I have a huge preference for it because obviously I don't like going to a movie theater to just look at boobs. Like,
that's
what are we
not,
doing?
yeah. I'm straight, but
That's not
that's
the
not
point.
who I. That's not.
Let's make one thing clear. My future wife, I will indulge.
Exactly, but it's my future. I don't want to see anyone else.
Exactly. Um. Anyways, I digress. So I really appreciated that about the Siren arc, that it wasn't just naked girls on a rock and some dude being like, "Oh," the eyes coming out of it, and then jumps off the boat and
Yeah.
kills himself. It's like, so I I yes, I wholeheartedly agree with you there.
Yeah.
I really appreciate how he handled that
Yeah.
aspect of the movie.
I guess I'll give just a little blurb. We had talked about there being 3 segments, but after how long we talked about the Odyssey, we are going to be moving our lightsaber ignition sound segment to another episode where we're going to just do more Star Wars sounds. So not we'll include these lightsaber sounds, and then we'll also do more. So we're moving straight into segment 3 just for the sake of time, which is our brand new day theories. We are both. I think this is the movie we are most excited for the year, maybe other than Doomsday. But for me, it is
Not
the
other
most.
than Doomsday,
Okay.
including Doomsday. This is my most anticipated movie of the
Yeah,
year.
me too. Me too. 100%.
100%.
And that's mostly because of Daredevil and Punisher. But
Yes, which we both recently watched. We didn't watch them as Netflix series when they came out originally,
Yep.
but like within the last year, 2 years, we went through all of the series. And man, with Daredevil Born Again, especially, holy peak.
Yes.
So I I want to rip the band-aid off, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
Let's start with my biggest theory. Spider-Man's gonna die.
In this movie.
I think Spider-Man dies at the end of this movie.
Oh, I thought he would
Yes.
die in Doomsday. Okay, that's my
Nope.
theory.
I don't think Spider-Man is going to be in Doomsday.
Interesting.
If Spider-Man is in Doomsday, it's
It's
because of an end credit scene of the symbiote walking up to Spider-Man's grave.
that I agree with that happening. I thought that would
That
be leading
panel-
to Secret Wars, but
That panel from the comics is one of the most iconic panels in comic book history.
Yep.
I have never read a single comic in my entire life. I don't know if you have.
not worth the money.
Every single Marvel fan, every single superhero fan, every single fantasy fan has seen that panel
Yep.
of Spider-Man in the symbiote, in the black suit,
Coming
digging
out of
himself out of the grave, coming out of the grave. Every single person has seen that. They're going to recreate it. I think it will start in this movie. I think Spider-Man dies at the end of this movie.
I don't hate that.
And
I mean, I don't.
I don't either.
Like, I don't think I have I don't think I have a reason to try and convince you that it's going to happen in Doomsday instead. I don't think I have a way to justify it. I think it's going to happen. It's going to happen in this movie or Doomsday, and he'll be brought back in Secret Wars most likely because he's got to be part of the reboot for sure.
He's going to be part of Secret Wars, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So okay, I like that. I didn't consider it,
if
but I
I
like it.
if I could just put a bow on it, I think he's going to die at the end of Brand New Day. The Brand New Day end credit is going to lead into Doomsday. Doomsday is going to happen, and a bunch of the old cinematic universe is going to get killed off.
Yep.
One of the multiple end credit scenes in Doomsday is going to be the symbiote walking up to Spider-Man's grave.
Yeah.
And that is going to lead into Secret Wars and the New Avengers and the reboot.
Yeah.
That's my official theory.
Okay. For the sake of the sake, I'm gonna say he dies in Doomsday. We'll
Fair.
Because I think
Well,
either is possible. So
it's worth acknowledging he's not listed in the cast of Doomsday.
I didn't know that.
He's not listed in the cast, but
Neither
there are people we know are in the movie that aren't listed in the cast.
Yeah.
And that is Marvel has done that so many times. For Infinity War and for Endgame, there were so many characters that weren't in the official. I'm specifically for Infinity War. There were so many characters that were in the initial cast release.
Yeah.
That weren't included that were in the actual movie. So,
yeah.
Is Disney leaving Tom Holland out of the original or out of the first Doomsday cast list in order to make people kind of think
He'll die?
Spider-Man could die? Possibly, but it's at least worth mentioning that he's not in the Doomsday cast as of right now.
I didn't know that, and I like that. So I like us having those guesses. I'm gonna start with another kind of big one. Daredevil's gonna be in it. They're gonna break Matt Murdock out of prison. I mean,
100%.
if the Hand is involved and Punisher is involved, I don't see how they can't involve Daredevil, and I think he will have a fairly major role.
So you think it'll be like the Hand rises and then Spider-Man and Punisher go and break out Daredevil, and then the three of them go on the rest of the movie?
Yes, Daredevil might be later. He might be like halfway through the movie, starting halfway or something.
Oh.
Because, and this
Sure.
is kind of one of the other things, we've seen so many villains in the trailers. I don't think there are going to be that many villains. I think they're going to do a beginning montage of the villains that he's defeated since
Dang
becoming.
it! That's one of my predictions.
Yeah, yeah, no, and this wasn't my idea. This is something someone else had, and I was like, that's actually a really good point. I can see that, and I think that would be a much smarter decision than the mistake that they made with TASM 2 and Spider-Man 3.
I was gonna say I wholeheartedly that's one of mine. But part of that is because I want this movie to be so good.
Yep.
And I know if they don't do that and it genuinely is essentially the Sinister Six throughout the movie, I know the movie's not going to be that good.
Yeah.
If you try and put all those villains in. So I'm really hoping it's a montage because Far From Home, End of Far, nope, No Way Home. Screw this stupid movie naming thing, bro.
Yeah, it's not your
At the
fault.
end of No Way Home, Ned, Forrester, shout out, Ned and MJ get into MIT.
Yep.
In Brand New Day trailers, Ned and MJ are in their last semester of MIT. Unless they're on some sort of accelerated whatever. 4 years have passed.
Yep.
So
it has to be a montage.
Unless I feel like they just have to. You have to make up the 4 years of time that you're saying has passed. Which, by the way, I think also makes there's some whack timeline stuff going on.
I didn't know.
Which I'm guessing they'll address in there's some really, really weird doomsday timeline stuff that's going on right now. They have some explaining to do.
Yep.
Because 4 years have passed in the Spider-Verse for this Spider-Man.
Yeah. There has to be a montage.
So there has to be a montage. They have to do something like that to catch us up to speed. And I hope that's where all of these villains come from. And I wouldn't even mind if it's the first 35 minutes of the movie. Like, it can be like extended Spider-Man going through all of these villains, extended, max 35 minutes.
Yeah.
But then like the last hour 45 is the actual story.
Yeah.
I would appreciate that, and I would think that's good. I don't know the runtime of Spider-Man Brand New Day.
I don't know either. I was just about to look that up. And hot take, I love long movies. I think movies should be longer as long as they have good pacing. I want movies in general to be longer.
If the pacing is good, I have no problem with lengthy movies. I wholeheartedly agree.
It is 2 hours 25, so you were pretty much nailing it with your estimate.
I'd be completely fine with that if it was like 35 minutes of the 4 years of Spider-Man without MJ and without Ned, and then the last hour 45, hour 30 to hour 45-ish is the actual story.
Yeah. Agreed. No, I'd be totally fine with that too, and I think what they're probably I don't know how they're going to go about it. I mean, we can obviously talk about like the main antagonist is whatever this thing is that can possess people or be anyone or whatever they're saying, but he's the only one who's immune and can sense it or whatever, right? We actually have an idea of a plot from that, which is super cool.
Right.
And so I'm guessing that's why Hulk turns evil, is because this thing takes over him or something. I'm sure. Somehow it seems like the Punisher might be immune too. I don't know if that's true, but
good point. Yeah,
it just feels that way to some extent. I wonder if they go after Daredevil because of his enhanced senses, and he can also, to some extent, sense it, which would be kind of interesting. I think whatever this thing is could be the Phoenix. I don't think Sadie Sink is Jean Grey. I think I've seen another theory. I really don't think that would make sense. I don't think that would hold up.
I am fully locked in on the Jean Grey. I think it's almost guaranteed.
She's not. So we will see.
Wow.
We will see what happens. I've seen a theory of her being Rachel Summers, which I think makes more sense. So Rachel Summers is the daughter of Jean Grey and Cyclops, who has some weird time travel-ish abilities. So it's actually the same as whoever in Days of Future Past, chick sends Wolverine's mind back in time. She can do that. She can send consciousness back in time to take over a body. Sounds kind of like something that takes over people's minds and whatever. Anyways, I think that's totally possible. And maybe she goes to her younger self or her whatever, something goofy. So I think that's a totally reasonable theory. I also think it's somewhat likely that it could be someone that we have never heard of. But
I would at this point I would be shocked if she wasn't Jean Grey.
I would be shocked if she
Completely
was.
shocked.
Yeah, we are fully opposite on that spectrum. I just don't think they're going
Wow,
to
I don't
introduce.
even know how you got to that conclusion, but I mean, I guess
I don't think they're
we'll
going to
figure
introduce
out.
X-Men and Spider-Man. I think all the X-Men will be introduced at once in Doomsday.
They don't have to. They can do it one character, which is Jean Grey, because Jean Grey is the Phoenix, and that's like
no,
it'd
she's
be
not
like
the
putting
only Phoenix.
Captain America.
She's not the only Phoenix. That's the problem. The Phoenix is a separate thing. We are just used to seeing the Phoenix with Jean Grey, but the Phoenix took Rachel Summers at one point. Like the Phoenix has bonded with Venom. Like the Phoenix.
In my mind, it would be like putting Steve Rogers at the end of an X-Men movie to introduce next movie X-Men and the Avengers are going to be together. I think that would be totally appropriate and fair.
But I don't see how a mutant is going to be on Earth 616 when there are no mutants in Earth 616.
True.
That is my biggest issue.
Because they can't get into incursions in Brand New Day. They can't do that.
We don't have mutants. That's just the thing. 616 has superheroes. Sure, they do not have mutants. So I don't know how, again, other than through some sort of time skipping or universe jumping ability, like what Rachel Summers could basically do. I don't know how it could be Jean Grey. Phoenix, sure. Phoenix is not necessarily exclusive to mutants. And so that might... But that's because the X-Men movies that we have seen has been Jean Grey Phoenix and the shows that we have seen. But in the comics, the Phoenix has literally bonded with so many people. So it's also possible that they do use the Phoenix as a gateway to Jean Grey and the X-Men, but it's an end credit scene bringing in Jean Grey and Sadie Sink's character. I don't think Sadie Sink will be Jean Grey. That's my big thing. Because,
I think Sadie Sink will be.
My biggest
So we addressed Sadie Sink.
Is the mutant, yes. Yeah.
I didn't even think about that because you're right. 616 does not have mutants.
That is the hardest thing. But again, Jean Grey's got some crazy abilities and we have some multiverse stuff. So it is still possible. She's also really young. It could be a younger Jean. Again, totally easily possible. It just doesn't fit what we've seen before. So I don't know. It'll be interesting. I don't think she would be locked in on her powers by then and enough to be able to jump a universe or...
You're right. It makes sense. Okay, now let's get into some other famous theories. There is a theory that before every single Spider-Man movie, what Zendaya has worn on the press release has related to the main plot of the movie. Have you seen this?
No, I've not.
She is obnoxiously serious and intentional with what she wears on the press release having to do with something in the movie.
Okay.
For the press release, I don't know if you've seen all of her interviews, pretty much every single red carpet appearance and interview, she is wearing black. Do you think MJ dies?
Or is she wearing black for a symbiote?
Or for a symbiote, or Spider-Man dies. So there's a big death, there's a symbiote, MJ dies.
I wouldn't hate it, but I don't think they will because I think they want to keep Zendaya. And I think Tom Holland wants to. That is the biggest reason.
Unfortunately, you're right. I don't want don't want Spider-Man. Oh no, I wholeheartedly disagree with the words that I was just starting to say there. Because he promised her.
I still want him to have another love interest, but
a different one. See, that's what I don't like in my mind.
I don't love MJ's character, and that's
I agree.
That's my
in my mind, move on from MJ. Bring us Black Cat. Boom.
Yeah, bro, real
great.
If you ain't gonna play, pass the controller.
But he promised MJ.
Yeah.
And maybe it's a me thing. It feels dirty. Like I would really, 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 really not like it if he didn't. But if it's he goes for MJ dies. Next movie has Black Cat. Okay, perfect.
Don't hate it. Yeah.
If he doesn't go for MJ, like he fully gives up on her, and then it's Black Cat, I'm like, oh, you had promised MJ that you were gonna go find her. That's not your decision to make. That's hers.
Yeah, I kind of forgot about the promise. You're totally right. He did say he was gonna find her. So
he promised her.
We know he does at least talk to her, and there will be to some extent interaction. Um, so you're right. So that would make sense if she died. If she decided she didn't like him anymore or something, or doesn't like him, or she has a new dude. Maybe she is a new dude. Totally fair, because she forgot about him.
But the big deal is that you're right that Marvel loves Zendaya and Tom Holland wants his wife to be in the movies with him. So
Yes, I think that's the hardest part of it. And I really, yeah, I don't like. I love Ned. I don't like her. But
Ned is the goat.
she's not. She's
CEO
not
right
like
there.
the worst. Yeah, CEO exactly. She's not the worst, but I just don't. I don't like her. I don't know. But she doesn't
Yeah.
ruin the movies for me or anything.
It stinks because we have Gwen from TASM,
Mm-hmm.
where it's like we have the pinnacle of Spider-Man love interest right there.
Yep.
So to me, every other Spider-Man love interest, unless there's some crazy Black Cat in the future, which obviously we've all been waiting for ever,
Yep.
because we've never had a Black Cat. So if there's something like that, maybe that could knock down Gwen. But until that happens, it's like you kind of no one stacks up to Gwen from TASM.
Yeah, 100%. Her character is witty and she's funny and she's sweet. It's like, yeah, they did her really well. So I think MJ's character is just so awkward and weird. I don't know, but
I think it works.
it works, especially with him.
Very well, but I don't like it.
Yeah, I would.
It does work.
Prefer someone different, but we'll see.
Yeah. There are some theories we haven't addressed. We've kind of talked a little bit about the symbiote. Do you think the symbiote will be in this movie? That was one of your and I's original leading theories. Do you still hold that?
At maximum, as an end credit scene. Otherwise,
I agree.
Yeah.
I wholeheartedly agree. I to be honest, I seriously doubt they're going to bring a symbiote in this movie at all, including an end credit scene.
I don't think
I really think they're going to lead into Doomsday with the end credit scene. I think the end credit scene is not going to involve Spider-Man. That's my prediction. I don't think the end credit scene is going to. Well, even then.
Really? Okay.
Because if he dies in the movie, the end credit scene will just be them leading into Doomsday, and then one of the Doomsday end credits will bring back Spider-Man.
There will probably be 2 or 3 end credit scenes. 2, probably, right?
Probably 2.
So one of them's going to be stupid and pointless, and the other one's going to lead into Doomsday. I think is probably my theory, but we'll see. Hopefully one of them leads into like Daredevil Born Again season 3. That would be sick.
Oh, that would be awesome. Oh yeah, if the quote unquote stupid and useless one isn't actually stupid and useless, it's just Daredevil.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
I would love that. Okay, what other theories have you heard going around?
I feel like we've addressed a lot of the big ones. I mean, I haven't heard many theories pertaining to like how big of a role Hulk's gonna play and if there's gonna be anything crazy. Supposedly he's bigger and taller. They're gonna do him better. He's angrier, so he's bigger. So I hope they do him right.
Actual Rage Hulk.
Hopefully.
Finally.
Yeah.
It has been over a decade since we've had a Rage Hulk.
Yes.
Literally.
Since Edward Norton's Hulk. Basically.
I am so excited to have a Rage Hulk finally. Avengers 1 had a pretty good Rage Hulk. And then a little bit with Age of Ultron. So, anyways.
Good point.
But that was
2012 and 2014.
Age of Ultron was 2014?
12 years
ago.
Yeah,
because Civil War was 2016. Yep. Yeah, anyways. So it's been over a decade since we've had a Rage Hulk. We have a Rage Hulk. His voice sounds great. He looks great.
Yeah.
W Hulk. I think Hulk is going to be at the end of the movie. Building off my Spider-Man dies prediction, Spider-Man dies to Hulk. Hulk kills Spider-Man.
Okay.
Oh! Let's tie this all together. Tom Holland confirmed there is someone in the MCU who remembers his identity. What are your predictions for who that is?
I feel like I've heard a lot of predictions of it being Hulk, right? Because Hulk...
Banner forgets.
Yeah.
Hulk never forgets.
Yeah.
So it's going to be Hulk, and then they're going to make that connection. Something in the end is going to go wrong, and Hulk is going to kill Spider-Man.
Okay. I think he'll die in Doomsday, but I don't hate that theory. And for me, I felt like Hulk was going to be like middle of the movie, but I guess we'll see.
No, I think Hulk. I think Hulk is going to be end of the movie.
Okay.
I think Hand will be the first antagonist that's addressed. I'm guessing
Oh, that's
there's going to
crazy. The
be.
Hand is so big.
I know, but I don't think in this
In
in
the
the context
MCU,
of this movie it will
it
be.
is street level.
Like to you and me having just rewatched all of the street level MCU stuff, all the street level Marvel stuff, I should say.
I guess
Um,
Spider-Man is still
the
street
Hand is
level.
a huge deal. Well,
MCU
not in the
Spider-Man
MCU.
not as much, but he's still. I mean, he's still teaming up with Punisher, so to some extent.
Yeah. Um, but I think it's going to be like the flashback sequence for the first 30 minutes, or not the flashback, the catch you up sequence for the first 30 minutes. And then the main antagonist is going to be the Hand. And then after the Hand is resolved, so like Punisher is gone, Daredevil is gone, it's back to just Spider Man, MJ, and Ned. The Hand has all been resolved, all of those characters and antagonists are gone. Then it's going to be the mutations that Spider Man is going through. Enter Bruce Banner, enter Hulk, Spider-Man dies, end credit scene.
But I feel like we know.
Fantastic Four landing on 616.
I feel like we know Bruce Banner enters earlier because Tom Holland is having the man spider kind of stuff going on and him getting web fluid in his wrists and whatever. He goes to Dr.
What reason
Banner
do we
for
think
help.
to have the mutation happens before the Hand? I don't think we have any.
That's true. It just feels like it's so major that it would be a throughout the movie kind of issue. And especially
I
because
actually
it
don't
gets
think
in this
so.
web
I think the
series.
multiple arms thing is going to be at max a dream sequence.
Oh, well, they won't. He won't ever fully develop. I don't think. Yeah, he won't fully develop. But I mean, he does get web fluid in his. He gets organic web fluid, and at least some eyeball weird stuff. Um,
Oh yeah, what do you think that is?
that almost looked like whatever the thing is that's possessing people suddenly possessed him. Is
But
my
we
first
don't
thought.
see the eyeball thing with everyone else getting
That
possessed,
and he's supposedly immune.
and he's supposedly immune.
So it kind of. I don't think it's a symbiote.
Yeah, the leading theory is that that's the symbiote. I don't think that's the case.
I don't think so. I think it's to do with these man spider kind of mutations. And again, that's why he goes to Bruce is because he's like, you figured out how to stop whatever. So I need your help in figuring it
fair.
out. Which I think he says. I think that's what he says. Like, there's a line of him saying like, because of what you like, I need your help to figure this out because you blah blah blah. You figured out how to stop yourself from turning into something else. So I think he's starting to have the changes, but before anything major happens, he either dies, as you would say, or he figures it out somehow. Guess I don't know how he would have figured it out.
I wonder if Tom Holland goes to him to figure out some sort of Tom Holland. I wonder if Peter Parker goes to him to figure out some sort of what's going wrong with him.
Yeah. Or some sort
Getting
of
a
other
Spider-Man
tracker.
expert opinion. Right.
Yeah, because how we have to think, how does he track Spider-Man? Some sort of DNA tracker or whatever is what he's figured out, and so
I don't know.
Yeah, that'd be kind of interesting. Why does he need his help? Yeah.
He's an MIT guy, so
LOL. True. And he's the CEO.
Ned's smart. All three of them are. And he's the CEO.
So.
But I think we've addressed a lot of theories. Obviously, there's a lot to theorize about. This is both of our most anticipated movie of the year.
Yeah.
So we could not be more excited. Episode 8 of the podcast is going to be massively Spider-Man Brand New Day themed. Yeah, we're counting down the days.
Yeah, I was literally just looking at the Google countdown. 6 days, 8 hours, 20 minutes, and 25 seconds. But that's till July 31st, and I'm seeing it on the 30th. So I guess 5 days away.
Heck yeah.
Right, dude.
Yeah. We'll try and not be as late with the Odyssey review as we are with.
If we can do it same day, almost, I will at least record it same day. Yeah.
Right.
We'll
like if we record after we see it the 30th and then I edit it and get it up on the 31st, I would love that.
Yep.
Yeah, we can try and do that. But anyways, you got anything else to say?
No, I mean, I've just got some shout outs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Not a nerd shout outs as we always say. I'm shouting out Izzy just for sending in great questions and just being super engaging with our trivia and being super awesome. Steve T. Gorches, just for having a great conversation with me in DMs and just being super supportive and interested in all that we're doing. And then Angela Peretta, just for leaving really really nice, heartwarming comments.
Very kind.
Very very kind comments on a lot of our videos, and so we really appreciate you guys and love getting to talk to you.
Yeah, I mean, we've made it a point since we had 30 followers to try and call out our followers by name and talk to you guys and make it, feel personal, not feel like typical content creators. Like, we've made that a point since the beginning. We recently passed 1,000 followers on Instagram. We're still doing that. If for whatever reason in the future we get 1 million followers, we're going to try and do the same thing. It's going to be a lot harder.
Yes,
We're going to
we're
try
gonna
and do
miss a
the
lot
same
of
thing
people,
and call you guys.
unfortunately.
Yeah, we're going to miss a lot of people, but right now we that's a huge important part of our content right now is community building. And our goal with Duality of Nerds is community building.
Yeah.
So yeah, shout out those guys. For me, for my not a nerd shout out, I'm gonna shout out Shaquille O'Neal, the greatest center of all time, most dominant
NBA
center of all, most dominant NBA player ever. Shout out Keenan Allen. I wish you were coming back this year. I guess there's still a chance. You might just be waiting for a bunch of the spring or a bunch of the summer training stuff to be over before you sign with us. But we love you, Keenan Allen. Hope you come back. That is actually a giveaway jersey from my college that I went to for a couple of years at Lipscomb. So shout out Lipscomb. They made the NCAA tournament that year
Wow.
that I got that jersey. So they got waxed by Iowa State. But anyways. And shout out Justin Herbert, the greatest quarterback of all time. Love you, buddy. Sponsored by Justin Herbert. So
Yeah.
not sponsored.
Not sponsored at all.
Okay, yeah, this has been episode 7 of Duality of Nerds. We really appreciate you guys stopping by to watch this. If you like us on the socials, you know what to do. You don't need us to tell you. Love you guys.
See y'all later.